Want to start learning parkour but don't have access to a gym or a fancy setup? Today we're going to go over 5 parkour moves that you can start learning at home in your backyard. What is going on, Ninja Squad? Welcome to more parkour tutorials summer 2025. Today I'm going to be breaking down 5 super simple parkour moves for you to start learning if you guys are interested in getting into parkour or you're new to the sport, you're not really sure where you want to start. Here's a couple beginner friendly moves you can definitely start learning in your backyard. I know I did and a bunch of my friends did too. Move number 1, we're starting things off with a very basic vault. Now in parkour there's a ton of different vaults. Some are a little bit easier, some are a lot harder, some do flips and tricks and all sorts of fancy stuff. But when you're starting to learn, you definitely want to start with the step vault. Now it looks pretty simple. For some people it will be, for some people definitely give them a run for their money. But you want to start nice and slow. Approaching the obstacle, I would recommend using a barrier that's around waist height or even a little bit lower if you're on the unathletic side. Start by placing your hand on top and then your foot. Trust me, you're going to want that hand up there first. Now, it doesn't really matter which side you do. I would recommend trying both and seeing which one feels more natural. I'm right-handed, but I definitely prefer going over my left side. That's just my personal preference, but there's plenty of people that do it other ways. So hands up first, then you put your foot on top, just like you're taking a step. Try to swing that bottom leg through, step down safely to the other side. Once you're getting more comfortable with that, definitely speed it up. Try making it a more seamless motion. You can add a little bit of a run into it. And congrats, you've mastered your first parkour vault, the step vault. Now we're also going to take this up a level for parkour move number 2, which is going to be the lazy vault. So for this, you want to have a good understanding of what it feels like to transfer your weight onto your hand in order to do the step vault, because in the lazy vault, you're essentially doing the same motion, but not tapping your foot on top. Now the progression for this is pretty simple. Add a little bit of speed, a little bit of momentum into your step vault until you're not even using that foot to touch down at all. Same thing, once you feel comfortable with it, add a little speed. Now if you're struggling with this, really try using that outside leg to swing your hips up in order to clear the obstacle. That's usually the only problem people are going to have with this. If the obstacle is a little bit too tall for them and they're not clearing their hips over, use that leg to swing up. Now once you can learn these two, that opens the door to things like thief vault, speed vault, Kong vault, dash vault, all of which are super cool. And if you want to check out the next progression I recommend, click this link right up here to watch my Kong vault tutorial to help get you started with that vault, because it's a little bit different. All right, next up we've got the classic cartwheel. You're gonna need to be able to do this if you want to progress into any types of acrobatics, tricking, flips, twists, all that stuff. Cartwheel is going to teach you so much about how to use your hands and feet together in order to create power. Now it's actually pretty simple to learn, but it takes a while to get good at for some people. But you want to start by deciding which hand is going to be your dominant hand. Again, doesn't really have anything to do with your actual hand dominance. I'm a righty, but I usually go to my left side. Try this out on both sides, see what feels the most comfortable. But we're going to take both hands, put them down on the ground at your side, and try to kick your feet over. You can make it super bent and crooked, kind of like this. Try that a couple times both ways to see what feels the most comfortable. Once you've decided your side, you're going to continue by straightening your legs out a little bit more and a little bit more at a time. Try to get them to go over your head, so you're doing more of a handstand in the middle of it until you're basically going straight over the top. Now if you can already do a cartwheel and you want to learn how to do a cart full, which is this trick right here, make sure to check out this link at the top. I broke down an in-depth cart full tutorial for you to check out. Then of course we have the kip up, parkour move number 4. You can definitely learn this in your backyard, in your basement like I did, except I don't recommend doing this on concrete at first. But the kip up is a classic parkour move. It's actually kind of challenging to get good at compared to some of the other ones that we've already covered, but like I said, you don't need anything. I can make a more in-depth tutorial if people want, so make sure you let me know in the comments if you want to see a further breakdown of this move. But start by laying on your back, get comfortable rocking onto your shoulders, okay? You want to get into this candlestick position here, which most people have already tried at one point or another. Once you're comfortable getting all the way up onto the backs of your shoulders, try reaching those hands up by your ears like this. Now when you're coming out of the roll, try giving a push through your hands so that you're giving yourself a little bit of an extra spring. Now the tricky part is getting the coordination down between shoving off from your arms and extending the legs in a slight kicking motion in order to generate that arc of momentum to get you back up to your feet. I'm not gonna lie, this just takes a lot of practice and repetition. Definitely film yourself doing this if you're having a hard time figuring out what the problem is, but keep thinking, push through the hands, push through the feet. Eventually you're gonna make it onto your feet, and the more you practice, the better it'll get. And last but not least, don't discount this move. We have the dive roll. This is a great roll to learn in terms of safety when you're jumping off of things, for sure. But you can also use this to dive over things or just a stunt of its own. The more comfortable you get with this and going over your head anyways, the easier time you're gonna have learning things like front flip, side flip, back flip. Start with a small run up or walk up if you're brand new. Make this diamond shape with your hands here, and you're gonna think about catching the ground and bringing the ground to your shoulder, okay? Don't bring your shoulder into the ground. Lower yourself into your diamond shape. And remember, we're trying to create a diagonal line. It's not a somersault. We don't want to go vertically down the spine, because if we did this on concrete, every single vertebrae is going to make contact with that concrete and it's not going to feel good. When we make a diagonal motion across the spine from the shoulder to the hip, only one point of contact between the spine and the floor is actually happening. So again, think about tucking that shoulder in, and that's going to help you create that diagonal motion. Add a little bit of a height into it each time you get better and more comfortable, until you're basically doing a dive roll over an object. And there you have it. There's 5 super simple parkour moves anybody can learn at home in their backyard with access to like a bench. Let me know which one of these you can already do and which move you want me to cover in the next tutorial. If you'd like to learn more about tricking, make sure you check out this playlist up here for my full tricking tutorials. Those are a lot harder than this video, but make sure to let me know what you guys want to see next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.